What if the future is not created when it arrives? What if it is created long before that? Inside the nervous system, most people live in a very predictable way. They wake up, think the same thoughts, feel the same emotions, react in the same patterns, and then hope for a different future. But there is a problem. If the mind stays the same and the emotions stay the same, why would the future become different? Because the future is often an extension of the emotional patterns we repeatedly live in today. Now think about an actor preparing for an important role. The actor does not wait for the performance to begin. The actor rehearses again and again and again until the role feels natural, until the character feels familiar, until the behavior becomes automatic. Now imagine applying the same principle in identity. Imagine rehearsing the future version of yourself, not through fantasy, not through wishful thinking, but through emotion, through state, through experience. Now let us ask a simple question. If your future was already here, how would you feel? Not what would you have, not what would you own, not what would people think about you. How would you feel? How you feel grateful? Would you feel grateful, confident, peaceful, free, inspired, connected? Now here is where most people make a mistake. They believe those emotions belong to the future, so they postpone them. I will feel grateful when I succeed. I will feel confident when I achieve my goal. I will feel peaceful when my problems disappear. And so the future remains distant because the emotional state never changes. Now imagine doing the opposite. Imagine generating those emotions today before the evidence appears, before the result appears, before the achievement appears. Now something remarkable begins happening. The body starts experiencing a future emotional state in the present moment, and the body learns through experience, not through time. Now think about this carefully. The nervous system does not know the calendar. The body responds to emotional experiences. If gratitude is real, the body responds. If appreciation is real, the body responds. If confidence is real, the body responds. The body learns the state. Now imagine repeatedly experiencing the emotions of your future self every day, every week, every month. Eventually, those emotions become familiar, and familiar emotions create familiar behavior. Now the future no longer feels distant. It begins feeling natural. Now here is the deeper insight. Most people are unconsciously rehearsing their past every day. They remember old disappointments, old fears, old failures, old frustrations. And the body keeps learning the past again and again and again. Now imagine rehearsing the future instead. Not the future you fear, the future you choose, the future you wish to embody, the future you want to become. Now the emotional energy changes. The nervous system changes, the perception changes, and eventually the choices begin changing too. Because identity influences behavior, and behavior influences reality. Now think about a professional athlete. Long before competition begins, the athlete mentally rehearses success, the movement, the responses, the performances again and again. Why? Because familiarity creates confidence. The nervous system performs best when it has already experienced success internally. Now imagine applying that principle to life itself, rehearsing courage, rehearsing confidence, rehearsing gratitude, rehearsing abundance, rehearsing freedom, not pretending, not lying, not denying reality, training, conditioning, preparing, teaching the body a new state. Now understand something important. Future self-rehearsal is not about becoming someone fake. It is about becoming familiar with who you are capable of being. Because many people already know what they want. The challenge is that their body still feels like the old self, the old identity, the old emotional baseline, the old conditioning. Now the future feels uncomfortable, not because it is impossible, but because it is unfamiliar. And the body always prefers familiarity. Now imagine making the future familiar, one emotion at a time, one rehearsal at a time, one day at a time. Now confidence feels normal. Now gratitude feels normal. Now success feels normal. Now peace feels normal. The thermostat changes. The baseline changes. The identity changes. And eventually the future becomes easier to create because the body is no longer resisting it. Now perhaps the greatest transformation happens when the future stops feeling like a destination and starts feeling like a state you can practice, a state you can embody, a state you can rehearse. Because every day you are teaching the body something, teaching it the past or teaching it the future. And perhaps the people who create extraordinary lives are not simply thinking differently. Perhaps they are feeling differently, practicing differently, rehearsing differently until the future they desire becomes emotionally familiar. And once the body learns that future, it begins moving toward it naturally because the body always moves towards what feels familiar. And transformation begins when the future becomes more familiar than the past.